So welcome on my behalf as well. There are so many VTTers here, so you will mix up us every time. When I was talking about the title of this, I thought that maybe I will be competing the most complex and convoluted title with all the words I could imagine putting there. Then he also helped me with birthing this. I'm going to talk about systemic models and management flight simulators and how to combine data and expert knowledge and these kind of things. The idea is that we have to make decisions under uncertainties and black swans, and we need data and we need expert knowledge to see what kind of things. We are held accountable for all the decisions we make. So how do we do a thing where we have future-oriented tools that will help us finding alternative futures and all kinds of ways of combating all these challenges that come in the future? So normally we build management flight simulators so we can simulate alternative futures and see what kind of things might be happening. Lots of sensitivity analysis and do 100,000 simulations and see what might happen in the future. The idea is that normally when we talk about consultants and people who are helping companies and organizations in this, we are talking purely on data. And if we are talking purely on data, then we have quantitative methods, we have AI, we have all kinds of analytics there. But you only have data from current situation and history. So they will answer questions like how did we come to this situation? And if we are very lucky, then we might predict a little bit further away in the time horizon. But the problem is that there are so many uncertainties, especially if we are talking about business. There are all kinds of economic changes. There's pandemic events. There's Russia-Ukraine war. And all of these will kind of pull the rug under you. All the nice plans you have if you don't have data of that. So we need the different kind of things. If you think at the left-hand side, then we have these consultants that are looking at the fifth decimal of things, and they are circulating data for your benefit. On the right-hand side, we have these consultants who are waving their hands and talking lots of abstract things, but they don't have any data of the future. So I think the biggest benefit in getting any kind of tools and managing complex situations is combining these two tools, getting the better parts of both of these worlds. So what we do system dynamics and systemic models, and this means all this complexity we thought, all these complex ecosystems, we can see, can we find an earning logic for all these parts that otherwise would be sort of collapsing the whole ecosystem. An idea is that we will find these complex dependencies between things. So if I do this, this will happen. If I do that, that will happen. There's a long chain of events that will follow if these things happen. We will make it as a sort of visual tool, meaning that then when you are in meeting with the experts can say that, okay, this is good. I don't agree with that, and you have forgotten that part. And there's a side effect that you haven't counted for. So it means that lots of experts can contribute. It's not black box modeling. It's something that you will think what kind of things are included and what kind of impacts are given. Normally, these models have very long time scale, meaning that we will see 5 years and 10 years to the future. Of course, the prediction is a little bit more vague at that point, but it's much better than having no vision at all. And in many times, all our good decisions are in vain because we know that road to hell is paved with good intentions. I meant well. This one, I had a good idea in my head, but I didn't take into consideration all these side effects and ripple effects that completely destroyed all the nice ideas I had in my head. We are looking for leverage points. So we can put all our effort, all our resources and money and work we are doing on things that are buffered. Meaning that it's like hitting your head against the wall. You put everything there and you have nothing to show for that. Or then you can find these very sensitive leverage points that if I push a little bit and then it starts reinforcing, and I will just go to the sideline and look how things happen the way I want them to do. And this is something is mostly sort of looked for in many of these cases. And then we simulate, meaning that then we see different futures. I promise to give a couple of examples, because I'm a researcher, which means I'm automatically boring, and my presentation will have lots of integral signs and things like that. But I had restrained and sort of didn't go that way. I'm talking a little bit about outcome economy. Outcome economy, this is the kind of world we are going for. It is already present in media part, meaning that you only get funded or paid for things that bring you outcome. It is coming slowly to all kinds of conventional industries as well, in service industry, starting from that. And it means that in outcome economy, we have a system where we are not paying for product, we are not even leasing the services. We are only paying if we get what we are aiming for. If the outcome is something that I will promise that your company will make more money next year, and everything else is just a side way to that world. And you can think that it means that, imagine there are two kinds of suppliers. There's one supplier, let's say maintenance services. One supplier says that I will promise that your plant will stay up 86% of the time. And the other supplier says, you don't have to pay me anything unless you make more money with my services. So it would be very stupid not to choose the second supplier. Meaning that by this kind of market disruptors, this will come to be in actual case everywhere. So you would think of logic behind originally from product kind of things. You buy the product, you're happy with that. The business strategy is often take the money and run. So you produce the product and you don't look back. You're happy with that. Now we are talking about sort of leasing things and licensing things. And this is already current world, so people don't want to own anymore these kind of things. Meaning that you only say that I don't want this equipment, I just want the functionality of that. I don't own these machines, I just want the functionality of that. And this is much better already. Then you are focusing on your main ideas there. But we should go for the next space where we just look at outcome. And if you look at the last part here, it means that earlier you were aiming for efficiency. Now on second part you are sort of aiming for effectiveness in creating good experiences. And the last block you have everything under the sun. So you should be able to understand customers' business models, risk management, partnerships, transparency, and all these requires data. So when we are talking about data and business, we should be aiming for outcome economy. So things that are normally, when we talk about business, we are saying these are business-related factors and these should be the decisions. They are normally well understood. You don't necessarily understand your competitors' business plans or your suppliers' business plans. Also, technology is not a problem. Technology is already well advanced that we can do many things. But if we do these kind of outcome economy things, we need lots of things about different motives, and we need different kind of things, the logic, earning logic of different players. And this is socio-cultural things. These are the weak parts. So if we take responsibility of our customers' business, it means that we have to understand all of these things. Otherwise, we are definitely losing money. So let's have a couple of cases. The first one is creating a data-based business ecosystem. This is a genetic data ecosystem. This is something we did a couple of years back. The idea is that we have genetic data on the other side, and there are companies wanting to exploit it for the good of society, good of people, and good for themselves. They are trying to make money. So they will get samples, and they will pay fees for that. They have to return the data enriched, so the data will be more valuable after the companies have made their choices. So what kind of benefits we have for the society? Will there be better health services? Will there be savings of money? Will there be less trial and error of different things? And these are the benefits we are aiming for. There are all kinds of intermediate academic research and supply services. And this is already a much more complex ecosystem, meaning that we have to make sure that all of these different partners, somehow the money, the data is moved along these lines, and it is very easy to not succeed in these kind of things if you don't understand the motives of other players. If we put public funding somewhere, should we put, if we are aiming societal benefit, should we put it on developing databases, or should we put it on academic research by Academy of Finland? Should we put it in Business Finland and create business opportunities? So if we only put money somewhere, where should we put it in order to get this ecosystem running? There are many ways we can deal with that. But of course, as I said, we always made these management flight simulators. Teemu said it was complicated. This is also complicated stuff going behind my back. There are many things. There's data. There's different consents people give for their data. There's all kinds of fin data, giving licenses, academic research, competence centers, research and development project by companies, and support services. And if you model all of these, then you see that if I put money there, then bad things will happen. I will never succeed. If I put all my money in creating data, but nothing on business creation and research and development, nothing will happen. And with these kind of management flight simulators, you have data and expert knowledge on something that hasn't happened yet. So you will model all kinds of things that are not realized yet. And then we can simulate things like what will happen with the value of samples of data, how much data there will be, what kind of earning logic, how much money will move from one player to another under different scenarios. You can put more money in one place, you can quit funding on something, and then you will see what might happen there. Now, if you think that looked difficult, then let's take one more difficult part, because anyway, when we are talking about business ecosystem, there's always money somehow involved, and the targets are much more clear. There's earning logic, and there's new products, and you can define them very well. If we go for cities, then the outcome is something like good life, and good life is much more difficult to see how it happens, and there are many citizens that benefit differently. This was done for city of Espoo, and this was done when there was pandemic going on. The target was to find suitable ways of returning to the new normal and how to manage business ecosystems and citizens benefit on that. The mayor of Espoo likes to show this picture because it shows how difficult his job is. But I'm not going into detail. There are all kinds of things like budget there, city operations, building stock, public transportation, education, culture, social and health benefits, third sector, citizens and business ecosystems and startups. And all of these will affect all kinds of decisions, and restrictions will have impact on that. So what will happen is that we created a couple of scenarios with Nordic West Office. What will happen in the future? We have all of data from the city of Espoo and other places. But what will happen after COVID? There's kind of two axes. Either we will go global, or we will close the borders and go very, very local, national things. We can rely on regulation, or we can rely on free market on the other side. So there's one scenario where we close all the borders and take all this production to Finland. This was not something Espoo was aiming for, but they wanted to have a plan just in case this kind of happened. So how they will win in that case either. The other one is strong regulation from EU level. So then there will be green transition, and that will be the next big fight. So how will Espoo manage if this scenario will be more likely? And then there's very capitalistic idea. Whatever brings money, all these companies and new technological ideas, that will raise the new normal after COVID. And then there's distributed world, meaning that you will do work from home. In the old times, you came to Espoo because there was nice jobs, and now you can work from anywhere to any kind of company. So how do you create different scenarios in this part? So then we combine lots and lots of Espoo data and all kinds of expert knowledge of alternative futures. And then there's a management flight simulator that they can try hundreds of thousands of times and see what might happen if these things happen. This was also applied for the new cases in when there was Russia-Ukraine war. So what kind of inflation happened? What happened with the companies? What happened with people escaping from Ukraine? And the same simulator was used for that. Let's take one example more. This is from Marine Management and Maintenance. This is ABB Marine, was the customer for that. We have done lots of maintenance stuff for Kone and ABB and other companies as well. The idea is that they have very many different kind of applications. They want to have maintenance in the middle of the sea. They want to have spare parts in the middle of the sea, and they want to have expertise in the middle of the sea. Things are not going well if they have to have helicopters bringing experts and spare parts to a vessel that is without any kind of control in the middle of Pacific. So what we did for them, we included all these different methodologies, competencies, skills for the maintenance personnel, and we combined it with business thinking. So we had a management flight simulator for solving different problems. Where should all these maintenance centers be? What kind of expertise we need? What kind of training we need? And how is money connected to all that? I talked about outcome economy. So this is one picture of maintenance models. I said earlier that instead of saying that I will promise that your plant will stay up for 86% of the time. So this is one example where outcome economy is applied. In this left-hand corner, the end market price is $900. And on this right-hand side, the market price is $500. And if you promise for the customer that I will promise that you will make money, should you have a shorter or longer maintenance interval? So if the price is high, then all these positive parts, those blocks going beyond zero line, are higher if you have short maintenance interval. But if you have very short maintenance interval, the maintenance will be expensive, meaning that in this case, having very long maintenance interval, meaning that you are losing money. It's completely different on this side. So if the end product price is much lower, then you shouldn't do too good maintenance. In Nordic countries, we have tendency to do too good maintenance sometimes. It's expensive, and you are not going to make money out of that. In that case, it's much more likely that you should have a longer maintenance interval, because otherwise you are losing money on maintenance. This is my last seconds. This is one case we did for Saga City in Japan. Japan is one of our big companies, customers, and we do lots of stuff in Korea, South Korea as well. This was a circular economy, and they wanted to create a circular economy based on rice straws, which is problematic waste. You cannot burn them and you cannot put them in the ground. And they wanted to create high value products out of that. The problem is that this part of logistics was not beneficial, or there was no earning logic for any of these players. And that meant that you have to create artificial earning logic and then look at public-private partnership, or then kind of similar system where you have deposits from bottles. No bottle is worth this 20 cents you get from the machines. And by the end, we found that you get rice straws only 3 months every year, meaning that it's not viable business. You have to combine this rice straw ecosystem for construction, wood waste ecosystem, and textile circulation ecosystem in order to make a business case of that. Now my time is up, so thank you for your interest, and let's welcome the next speaker.